Like hairspray, maybe.
Yeah.
They're like destroying the ozone layer.
Aeronautics at the
What?
Oh, well, that's a good
I think
one.
it's gonna be.
Telegraphs, do we still have telegraphs?
Telegraph wires.
Yes.
Yes.
We're just brushing up on stuff.
How y'all doing this morning? Y'all want me to sit here?
Yes, please.
I'm used to standing, but I'll sit for you guys. You want me to put the microphone on?
They're all on.
Oh, they're all on. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
they're set up here.
Okay, good morning. Today I sit before you as a public servant, a mother, a woman of faith, not broken, not silenced, but resolved. The allegations made against me in the indictment are serious. I take them very seriously. But I will not be tried in the media. I will have my day in court where the truth belongs. But let me be clear. It's an effort to distract from the work I've done, the lives I've touched, and the community I represent. To my District 3 family, I see you, I serve you, I love you, and I will continue to fight for you. My commitment to justice, equity, and second chances remain unshaken. I trust the legal process, and I remain focused on what matters the most to people. Now, when I found out that there may have been some scrutiny in the application, I paid it back. I have one loan, $20,000, $833. $20,000, $833. When the application was processed, I paid it back. No one had to tell me to pay it back. When I found out that there may have been some stipulations in how the application was processed, I paid it back. Now, on the other hand, that's Hillbilly Barbecue that has $1.5 million that never went into the courtroom. They were able to pay it back civilly through a civil matter. Okay? So there's some PPP loans out there that just came up that never touched the courtroom. So if it's about justice and I paid it back, why are we here? Why are we here? I paid it back. On my own. No one had to tell me to do that. I paid it back.
That was the full 124.
I don't have 124. I paid $20,000 back. You're reading an indictment. I just made my statement.
The indictment says that you used those funds on a birthday party. Is that the case?
I paid $20,000 back.
Did you originally use the funds that were provided for you for that birthday party?
I paid it back. The funds that I got was $20,833, and I paid it back.
And Councilmember Brown, it sounds like, are you planning to stay on council?
Why would I resign? I haven't been convicted of anything. I was elected for the people, by the people. The people would have to remove me out of the seat.
The feds also allege that your daughters were involved with this. Did you fill out any applications on their behalf?
I'm not going to speak on behalf of anybody that's not here.
What do you say to the residents of District 3 who are seeing this in the news? They're well aware of your history. How can they have confidence in your ability to continue to serve and your desire to continue to serve in the future?
My whole platform is based off second chances. It's based off transparency and truth. I've did several interviews with you. I always come forward. I'm always accountable. There's nothing to hide. My residents know who I am. They know my history. They know who I am. They know my history. My history is not a secret. I live my life on my history. There are women that I meet at the door that come home with just a bag in their hand and they live in my house. The feds sent them there. Did they tell you that? I house their women. They live with me. They're in one of my homes right now. This is the work that I do. It's who I am.
You call the attack political. What do you think the motivation is if it's political? Reason for it.
I paid the money back. No one had to tell me to pay it back. If we're seeking justice, and I paid back the $20,833 that I'm accountable for, then why are we here? Why are we here?
So you gotta put it in
If
perspective.
it's in the matter of justice and we're seeking justice and I paid it back, again, why are we here?
Councilmember, you mentioned earlier, you said when you were kind of first made aware of the questions about the relief money, and when you paid it back, can you walk us through a little bit of the timeline of like when you first heard about the concerns and when you paid it back?
I didn't say I was aware of any questions. I just paid it back. I paid it back. It was done by a third party. The application was submitted by a third party. So what I accept responsibility for is maybe not scrutinize the application the way that I should have.
And this is gonna be a trial, so we're not gonna
But
get too much into the
it's definitely
details.
going to be a trial. But I do want to say this. When a person has something to hide, they don't send out a press release. They don't show up and answer questions. And so I've done this my entire life. I travel the world. I have a national footprint fighting for women that are needing second chances, third chances, fourth chances, and fifth chances. What I'm saying to you is, when I found out there may have been any discrepancy in the application that was submitted by a third party, I paid it back. That's not in the paperwork that you have, but I paid it back, and it was submitted.
The feds say the money was supposed to be used for payroll. Did you use that money for payroll?
Again, this is gonna be for trial, so I've asked her not to answer these questions.
The feds say you spent $3,500 on a venue for your birthday party, $5,000 in catering, $2,300 for photography, a rented throne, and a horse-drawn carriage.
So-
What was that party?
So same answer on that one, but this is not the time for us to try the case.
And the reason I came here today is because I've been very supportive of Ms. Brown. I've paid her thousands of dollars over the years for working with my company. So any insinuation that she took some money from a PPP loan when she has 3 jobs, she worked for Uber, she worked for Lyft, she worked for American Airlines. So to say that this money that was related to this PPP loan was exclusively used to pay for stuff like that, I personally gave her donations for that. So, you know, the last thing I want to say is I come here today to support her because we're talking about something that happened during a time when everyone was filing these loans, right? And the only mistake that she made was she didn't scrutinize it the way that she should have scrutinized it. And once she became aware, once they made her aware, I'm going to say that. She didn't say it, I said it. Once they made her aware that it was some problems, just like you coming and questioning right now, when she was questioned about it, she paid it back. No questions asked because she accepted responsibility of the fact that she did not scrutinize the application the way she did. She didn't fill out the application. So the fact that she didn't fill out the application and there was some things that may have been put on that may not have been correct, she's not saying it, I'm saying it. The reality is that this was 5 years before she ever thought about running for office. So today she's staying here as a person that did more than he or Billy Bob could ever done. That company that didn't get indicted, right? She paid it back. What justice is to seek to get the money back. The other company, they sitting over here, and it has, I don't care about the politics or none of that. We talking about people's lives. And to sit here and do an attack on this black woman right here, who paid it back. That's what we want, right? When you go to somebody and you say, hey, this right here, money may not have been obtained the correct way, right? We need you to pay this back, right? Everybody has the opportunity. IRS has a way to pay that back on their website, right? So you pay it back. Now tell me one person who have paid it back that got indicted other than Tiawana Brown. You won't find it. Because the fact of the matter is there are people who have strategically planned to do this. Did they tell the grand jury that she paid it back? We don't know, but they sure didn't tell you. It's sure not in this indictment right here that she paid it back. Wouldn't you say that that's something that was important for the public to know? So we're going to let the public be the judge of this.
The feds say that you certified the application though under perjury. So why are you saying that a third party submitted the application?
Not gonna answer that question, Mr. Bruno.
When did you pay it back?
It was paid back a few months ago.
A few months ago, okay. After you became aware of the investigation?
Correct.
But it's clear that no one told me to pay it back though. I paid it back on my own.
Why did you originally seek the funding?
I had a business to seek the funding. Yeah, I was starting a new business.
The
Business-
TCC collection?
TC swimwear.
Let's not get into the specifics too much. You know, we don't want to give our entire playbook to the other side here. We're getting ready for trial.
What's the timeline? Do we know what happens next in terms of the trial?
Not yet. That'll be a schedule that'll be set. The indictment was just released this morning, so there'll be an initial appearance, and we'll be pleading not guilty at the initial appearance tomorrow.
Absolutely, 110%.
Initial appearance tomorrow.
Yes.
I would ask that the U.S. Attorney, and I'm making this request on behalf of the community, give Ms. Brown the same consideration that was given to these
Hillbilly
companies.
Barbecue?
Yeah, Hillbilly Barbecue. Like, she has a right to equal justice under the 14th Amendment, right? So equal justice for me would be for her to get the same consideration that they got who didn't pay it back. But they got to go through civil court and agree to pay it back incrementally. Ms. Brown paid it all the way back. So I would ask, when you speak to the U.S. Attorney's Office, to relay this request that in the interest of justice, Ms. Brown 14th Amendment right be protected and she be given the same opportunity that Hillbilly Barbecue got.
Have you
And,
heard
and
from any,
there've been a number of other civil settlements. It's not just Hillbilly Barbecue.
have you heard from any colleagues? Since you sent out the
My
news
colleagues
this
are very
morning.
supportive of me.
And can y'all help, I'm just trying to understand, because the indictment talks about 124,000, and then Councilmember Brown, I think, has said you paid back roughly 20 or 21, I think, is right? Can y'all help me understand, like, the rest of the money, what is the
I can help you
allocation?
understand what I'm responsible for. $20,833 paid back in full.
And that's exactly right.
$20,833 paid back in full on my own. That's what I'm responsible for.
And is it the rest of the money, another 100,000 or so, would that be from the other people in the indictment? Is that the-
That's what the indictment charges. You're right on that.
You've been through this process before in the 90s. What would you say to people who are aware of that history and now see this happening again?
Well, I live my life every day fighting for people, meeting people right where they at. It's my life. I eat, breathe, and live justice. Whether it's in Raleigh, whether it's on Capitol Hill, working for the Department of Justice, as an intern fighting for Michelle West, who had 32 years that just came home, the women that live in my home every day that are praying for me, that the United States probation send from the Western District of North Carolina to my men's home and my women's home. I have 5 people in there now from the United States probation, Western District of North Carolina. The total that has been through my program this year, 11. So what do I say to them? Keep your head up. Keep fighting, because there's 2 sides of justice. We're looking at it.
And Cedric can probably talk more on this, but she's not just a politician. She does a lot of work. out
I
in
can
the
talk on my
community.
work. They know my work. Let's not pretend like these folks in this
You
room
got
don't know
this.
who I am and don't know my work. I'm not here. I'm here for today. My accolades have already been
This
written.
is for the people that are watching.
My
that, you know,
accolades have already been written, and this year alone, graduated from Duke nonprofit program. I was the change agent for She Built This City. Last year, I got the Great 28. The year before that, I was given $250,000 for a safe home to take care of women and men that are coming home from incarceration. I am a program manager for CD Holdings for unhoused mental health, mental challenges, and second chance, and people that are justice impacted. I have went through Just Leadership. I am on recess right now. It's my 4th year at John C. Smith University. I hold a 4.0. The people that are watching should know that once you're in the system and you're given a number, 105670058, that's the number that I was given 34 years ago. We're never free. We're never free. There's a system that keeps us inside of a system. So 30 years ago, you could erase that. That's 3 decades ago. If anybody's looking at something I did 30 years ago, what have everybody in this room did 30 years ago? Somebody has always did something. I was young, suffering from domestic violence. I was unsheltered. I had been through having my daughter in prison, handcuffed and shackled, coming home, checking the boxes and going back. We're not going to talk about a 19-year-old poor kid born on the 1500 block of West Boulevard in Southside Homes as to where I've risen to the occasion now. I made history, being the first formerly incarcerated person to sit at the dais. Now, people watching, some people are not happy with that. They're not happy the way I fight for people, the way that I call people out, the way that I make sure that people are held accountable. You know, I don't go along to get along. I'm not anybody's pocket. I have a very strong and courageous voice that I use every day to fight for everybody in District 3. I love everybody. I meet people right where they at. Unfortunately, on this day, I can say that justice don't always love people that look like me.
Did you use the pandemic relief loan for payroll?
Again, questions we're not going to get into in this conference.
Why do you view this as political? Do you think that somebody doesn't want you to run for re-election?
I'm going to repeat what I said to you. It's already recorded. If we are here for the sake of justice, which is normally what happens when there's a federal indictment, people get so upset and so afraid when they see a federal indictment. So let me educate you a little bit. A federal indictment is the government's way of putting out a warrant for you, a bill of education and information when they're going to charge you. So people need to know that that's watching. It would be the same as if somebody was driving down the street and they wrecked the car and they had guns and weapons in the car. So we're talking about a very serious crime, which is white-collar crime. No violence. There's no violence in me. Never have been, never will be. I would like to say that when you hear that a person in my position, doing the work that I do, working on Capitol Hill, working for the Department of Justice, going in and out, got a great relationship with Elizabeth Orr. She's no longer there, but the bottom line is I know this justice thing inside and out. If I paid it back on my own when it was brought to my attention, what would you call it?
And Joe, I really want to say this right here. You asked the question, what is the message that should be sent to people who may question them? The message is clear. Lead by example. Miss Brown, it's thousands of people that have been said that you obtain a PPP loan and you need to pay it back, right? She paid it back. And the message that needs to be taken away today for anybody in her district, anybody in this city, is to cooperate with law enforcement. People investigating you, if they come to you and bring to your attention, maybe you didn't scrutinize the application that was done by a third party, because there was all kind of third party companies that was doing it, trying to assist business owners. If you were that person and you are approached by the federal government and told, hey, there are some issues right here, cooperate and pay it back. That's the right thing to do. That's what Ms. Brown did, and I would hope, in the interest of fairness, in the interest of truth, that that's part of the message today, because it sure wasn't part of this indictment. The fact that she paid it back. So the message to everybody should be that if you obtain a loan and there were some issues about it and you are made aware, pay it back. That's the right thing to do, and that's what Ms. Brown did.
Right, and what we've got here is a speaking indictment. The prosecutors could have just put the charges out there, but instead they laid it all out here to put the case in the media.
And Councilmember Brown, I asked you before, you're going to stay on council, you said. it's an election year, are you planning on running for the district? or seat
Absolutely.
again?
Yeah, I'm not. So, again, I made history. The people asked me to run for office. It was never under my umbrella to run for office. Never wanted to be in politics. I know how dirty politics is. I know that. I pride myself in walking in every day in dignity, in my office, looking at the jail, praying for the people who I serve, who I know deserve a second chance, praying for the people, working for the people that put me at the dais, to fight for them on every tough issue, answering all the tough questions. So to your answer, and to everybody else's answer that's looking, yes, I'm staying on city council. I was elected, and for the record, I won unanimously. It's never been done. I won every single precinct in my district. People wanted to see something different, and they got that. They wanted accountability, and they got that. They wanted somebody to stand unapologetically on the truth, and they got that. They wanted somebody that's going to show up for the people, and they got that. Re-election, absolutely.
I know you said that you paid the money back about a month ago, or that you discovered about this.
I didn't say a month ago.
Gotcha. How did you figure out about the application issues?
So for the record, and so we can be in the sake of consistency, because I didn't say a whole lot in here, and I'm saying the same thing. It was paid back a few months ago. When I found out, it was brought to my attention that there may be some scrutiny going on with the application, I paid it back. $20,833. That is the amount that I am responsible for.
And it had been forgiven. Let's be mindful of the fact that it had already been forgiven. It wasn't a loan that had to be paid back. It was a loan that had already been forgiven. She had no obligation, period, to pay anything back. There was no requirements whatsoever. It was already forgiven. She had already received the letter that it was forgiven. But once she became aware, she paid it back.
Why did you apply for the pandemic relief money?
In the pandemic?
Yes.
In the pandemic.
Yes.
That's my answer. I don't have anything else to say. We know what we went through in COVID. We know what everybody in this room went through in COVID. We know what the world went through in COVID.
And it was a time when she was working for Uber, she was working for Lyft, she was working for American Airlines. She was trying to take care of her family. I mean, look at all the different jobs that she's doing, right, to try to make ends meet. In addition to that, she's trying to run a nonprofit organization, and she's trying to start a new company. So with all of these responsibilities that's going up, and you in a pandemic trying to make all this, it's common sense. I get it. You got to ask the questions, right? But at the end of the day, please ask the question to the U.S. Attorney why that company, Hillbilly Barbecue, was allowed, when they didn't pay it back, was allowed to go to civil court instead of criminal court. Why were they, a white company, allowed to go to civil court, and why Ms. Brown is here today? When their amount was way over the amount. I think that's a fair question. And the media, in fairness, should ask the U.S. Attorney's Office, would you say that this is not a political case? Because clearly, Hillbilly Barbecue over here was given a chance to go to civil court, and they didn't even pay it back. All right.
All right, y'all.
We
Thank y'all so
appreciate
much
it.
for
Thanks,
coming out
everybody.
Thank you
today.
for having us. Thank you for
You're very
answering our
welcome.
questions.
Have a good day.
Can we have you say and spell your first and last name before the cameras?
Sure. It's Rob Heroy, that's Heroy. Thank you.
And Cedric, your name?
Cedric Dean.
Do it for the mic.
Have a good day.
CEDRICDEAN. Cedric Dean.
I'm sorry, your last name?
Heroy,
Heroy.
it's Heroy.
Okay, and first name?
Rob. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna go shower now.